And I don't know if any of the others are going to join us or not. So they might come in or they might not. Okay, so we are going to start. It is 7:30, and this is our March Google Education Group Innovation Challenge. Joining me tonight is Deanna Perkins, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you, where she works, what she does, and a little bit about herself. Go ahead, Deanna.
Hi, I'm Deanna Perkins, and I teach second grade at Reagan Elementary and Leander ISD. I've been teaching second grade for about 8 years now, and before that I taught third grade. I was a bilingual teacher for about 8 of those years, and now I'm teaching gen ed. I just got Google Educator 2 certification in December, so that's about it.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
And we asked you to join us and do this innovation challenge because of the nature of you being second grade. And a lot of teachers say elementary kids, especially younger elementary kids, can't do everything. And you are here to prove them wrong. So I'm excited for you to share with everyone how you're utilizing Google Sites and student portfolios. So take it away.
All right. Well, I've been using basically Google Apps for Education for as long as we've had them at Leander, and even sometime before. And I know that that kiddos can do stuff, and so last year I started utilizing the Google Sites because I thought that it would be a good way for the kids to showcase their learning. Last year, though, I had to manually create each student's web page or site for them because they didn't have access to Google Sites. And so I manually created it, just a blank page. That ended up being a lot of work, though I had some that really caught on really quickly. We had to, kind of front load. I had to teach them, how to add a page and how to do the templates. And of course, the one thing that they all want to do is change the theme and the fonts and the colors and all that fun stuff. It ended up being a lot more than I could handle last year. And so it didn't really go as I planned. This year, though, as I was studying some of my Google things for my certification, I decided to try again. And I asked the lovely tech people at our district to see if there was any way that we could have sites available for the elementary kids first off, because for some reason they were blocked. Lovely Miss Fitzgerald got it going for us, and so now they're able to use it. But I created a template for the kids so that it already had the tabs and the pages set up for them, and then they just had to fill it in and make it their own. Would you like me to share that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. So let's see here.
Yes, everyone wants to see me.
I know. Sorry, I'm new to this. So, okay. So can you see the template here?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I the way that I created the template is I acted as if I was making my own site, and so I added what I would want on a second grader's web page, and so I added all the different subjects: math, writing, reading, spelling, all that good stuff, and then when I shared it. I went into manage sites, and then I could save it as a template. If you would scroll down, then down here it would say save as a template. This one's already saved as a template, so it would it's not showing it. But then I would save it as a template, and then my students, whenever they went into sites, what instead of creating a new blank document, they created a page using a template, and they just searched the name, which was second grade student portfolio. And then everyone started with this as their home page. They made their changes, they added their name, and then they've added little bits of information, some of them more than others. But my goal was to have them have something to show their parents at the end of the school year. And I started kind of towards the middle of the school year. So we're hoping to kind of work really hard these next weeks to kind of give them a little bit of information for the parents to come in and look. I wanted to show you a couple of their sites or some of their pages, and I've gotten permission from parents for this. But so we have here, kids adding pictures. They've added pictures with some of their work. Some of these pictures I have put into, like if I've taken pictures of them, I added it into a group shared folder for them to be able to utilize any pictures that I've taken in the classroom, and they can use it in their website. They've also made their homepage their own, and they've used their own pictures of themselves. I had them make this a little about me page, so some of them added pictures from home. This one was a video so they've learned how to input videos also from Google Drive, and also some from YouTube as well. They've utilized some of the important things to them. This is the 7 Habits of Happy Kids. I think that. So he has some fun stuff there, but they know how to input YouTube videos, and some of them go a little bit crazier than others. But I know that this one is Kid President. We watch a lot of Kid President inspirational videos, so they love Kid President, and so he put the Kid President videos in here. And then we read the book Sideways Stories from Wayside School, and so they put some of the videos there as well. Let's see what else. So basically, I'm trying to have these second graders input things that they learn for example, social studies, American symbols. We have, they show American symbols. And one of the things that I'm also trying to teach them is about not just using any pictures, that they find in Google because of copyright. And so what I did is on my website, I created, and I got these links, I think, from Matt Miller, the author of Ditch That Textbook. He wrote it on his blog. So I put some of these where they can get, free to use Creative Commons pictures, so that they can try and use pictures that are not copyrighted and that they can use in their website. So that's something that I'm also trying to teach them, being a good digital citizen, because just because it's on the internet doesn't mean you can always use it. So let's see what else.
So let me ask you a question while you're switching over, Deanna. You say that you're having the kids put the information onto the sites. How long did it take you to teach them how to do it, or did you not teach them and instead had them go through and figure it out themselves? Because I know that's a question that many are going to have.
Right. Well, like I said, it takes a lot of front loading. It does take time, but kids these days pick it up so quick. Some of them like somehow already know how to do it. Once you show them one time, there's always going to be some that might not get it right away. But the thing is that on the other hand, there's some that get it right away. And so I always have those kids be the helpers. And then, you know, like I tell, one of them might come up and say, Miss Perkins, how do you get something from Google Drive again? How do you insert a picture from Google Drive? I show one person one time and I said, okay, you're the expert now. So they go and they help others, and because if they know how to do it and they're sharing, and then they tend to not forget. But yes, it does. I mean, it does take some time. That's why next year I'm hoping to start from the very beginning. And plan it out a bit better, because I had an idea in mind, but of course, as I'm going through it, I'm like, ooh, I could change this, or ooh, I could add that, or oh, I can make it easier by doing this. And so, but yes, planning it out takes some time, showing them each and everything, because, you know, obviously the first thing is, how do you change the colors, because it's so plain that they want to change it right away. But that is not the first thing that I teach them, because if not, they will dwell on that. And so so I teach them how to add content, how to edit, because Sites is so different than Google Drive, because it doesn't save automatically. And so I have to teach them how to save, which, you know, we kind of go back and forth, because before we were teaching them Microsoft Word and they had to save every 2 minutes. And then we went to Google Drive, and which automatically saves. And so I'm teaching them again how to save their work. And if they make a mistake, how to go back and all that good stuff. And so it does take some time. You know, I try to go to like the computer lab at least once a week, to where everyone has access to a laptop, because it is very much easier than on a small device to do this. And sometimes even that doesn't really work at all. And so we try to get desktops or at least laptops for them to work on, which, you know, again, with the one computer lab that we have, you know, depends on availability. So I try and go once a week for about an hour and work on that. And so they're working on skills and working on computer skills and working on typing and spelling and all that, because they have to know how to spell stuff on their websites. But it takes time, and it does take time to even upkeep it, because you feel like you're wasting time, but truly you're not, because if they're typing it and they're writing it in there, then that means that they've learned it too.
Right.
But I mean, they like doing it. And once their website goes live, you know, I've been doing a lot of global communications with people this year. And so one of the big things is that when you learn it and you make it go global, that you can teach others. And so I'm hoping that they can share their work, not just with their parents, but, you know, with the world, obviously with parents' permission, but share it with the world, you know, because one of the things that we're going to be adding on there is their Genius Hour project, and putting a page with all the information about their project. And so that's part of doing their Genius Hours, to share their information. And so I'm pretty excited about that. But it's work, but I think it's very rewarding work.
That's great. I wanted to address with the audience, those that are watching, if you do have a question, There is a question and answer feature that if you just tap on that, you can ask your question, and I will have Deanna, answer it. We do actually have a question. So the question right now is, do the parents access the individual student portfolios through your site, or do they have their own site? So I think you had addressed earlier that they each have their own from a template.
Yes.
And so how
they
going to
their,
the students to have their parents have access?
So just like when you make a Google Doc or a Google presentation, you can share the site with the whole world, or you can share it with certain people. Right now, it is shared specifically to me, to where I have editing permissions, and right now, as I think it's as a default, it shares with the district, with anyone with a district web address can view it if they search it. And so I haven't tried that yet, but what I'm thinking is that that what we could do is we could share the website with the parents by inputting their email. And then what we can do afterwards with parents' permission is just share it as a web page, as my teacher one is, where anyone can search it and view it. Hopefully theirs can be searchable as well, to where their family and friends and anyone around the world could look up their cool website that their second grader, their 7 or 8 year old made. When there's tons of adults out there that wouldn't have a clue how to even get started with that.
Right. It's a great answer. When you put them on your website, if people are out there and thinking of, you'll make sure that you have the parents' permission. Yes. So that anyone that comes across your website and links to it, you're going to have access to that name and pictures. So for security reasons, it probably is best to do it like you're going to do it. Share.
Yeah, like I don't have any links on my web page right now to any of their pages, because there's right now is a work in progress, and so we don't have any links. They go to it through their through what we call the waffle. They sign into Google, and then they go to their little 3x3 grid, and they click on it, and they go to sites, and it's listed on there. So that's how they go and they edit their web page.
Great. I'm going to let you get back to showing some other stuff.
Okay. Let's see here. Ah, sorry. Okay. All right. So, so some of the things that, let's see, we have some other ones here.
And I don't see your screen.
Oh, you don't see it? Okay, I'm sorry. Where is it? Okay, I have way too many windows open. I'm sorry, hold on.
You're fine.
That's because I did not click share.
That tricky little button.
I know. Okay. So, so one of the things that, like I said, that they've learned is I've been trying to teach them also, because they want to add pictures. And so one of the things I've been trying to teach them is that if they do have a device, which just for you to know, we are not a one-to-one district in the elementary sense. We practice BYOD, where they bring their own device, bring their own technology, but of course not all of them have access to it. And of course, as we all know, they all bring something different, to where we might not know exactly how to work it. But with Google Sites, it's always better to have either a Chromebook, a laptop, or a desktop. It's easier for them to navigate. And truthfully, I was trying on an iPad this afternoon because one of my students was asking if they could do it, and yes, they could, but it took many different attempts in order to do it. But what I've been saying is for them, if they're taking pictures with their devices of some of their work, that they can, for them to save it into their Google Drive, into Google Photos, what have you, so that they have access in order to be able to input it. So I've asked them to try and take some pictures of some of the work that they're most proud of, some of their reading goals, stuff like that. Now, whether they've done that yet or not, that's a whole other story, but that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be asking them to do and input into their web page. Where is, I wanted to show. Okay, so this one, I'm going to be talking to her about how easy it is to read, or vice versa. Because the font, that's one of the things that, they want the fancy fonts, but it's not necessarily very easy to read. And so it's always a learning situation whenever they do that. But what I liked about this child's web page is I asked them, because obviously they do math in spirals, and and so what she did here is she wrote the story problem that they were working. Already had 24 cookies, he made 39 more. How many cookies does already have now? And then she explains it. So I did 24 plus 39 cookies. Well, I know 20 plus 30 equals 50, but I know that 9 plus 4 equals 13. So what's 50 plus 13? 63. And our answer is 63. So, even using, the written stuff, she's gone in and she even put the date of when she did the story problems. So I think that's, people are like, well, you can't do math on, you can't show their work without just taking a picture, but, you can definitely type it out. Let's look here. And they've also, through Google Classroom as well, we use Google Classroom. And so some of the assignments that they did gets automatically, into their Google Drive. So they're able to just insert some of the work that they did in Google Classroom. So this was, these are a couple different assignments. One of them was that we did a global postcard exchange. And so we wrote to another classroom, either around the country or on the other side of the world. And so she put her postcard, what she wrote about her school here, and about herself. And I told them to write a little bit about, our area. And then a map template that they made using Google Drawing. I had them use Google Drawing in order to make a map with a legend or a key. And so she wrote about how she likes being a writer. But I like the sites because it does give them, the ability to create it how they want. We'll just talk about kind of the ease of writing, and it's still a learning process as well for everyone, because even just something as simple as we put the tabs up at the top here. If they want to add another one, it has two technologies here, but only one is showing, which is fine. But they have to know that the sidebar, just because it's added here, you have to manually add a tab up here if you want it, if you want to see it. One of the other things with creating a template which I learned, let's see if I can find, this student here came to us in January, and we had already started, we had already done. And so what's great about creating a template is that, you know, obviously he has to learn how to do everything, but the template's there and he knows what he has to get started with. And I thought that this little technology blurb, because he added a sub page here with some different websites, which is actually some of the things that we're doing kind of in our maker spaces, like coding, little bits, makey, but he's adding his own sub pages on there. So he did that on his own. He added the Genius Hour tab today, but he came in, we added the site really quickly, and then he went ahead and did it. But I thought this little blurb was pretty funny. You know, talking about cyberbullying, and when I go on the internet, I ask an adult if it's okay to go on that website. When you go on the internet, be careful. And he talked about how he changes his theme, his font and format, and that the internet is a very good source of wisdom. You should try it. It's very fun. But they, you know, you see their voice, you see what it's all about. And truthfully, I tell them, yes, obviously write about things that you've learned. But I also want the parents to see, you know, just, you know, them come out, their children and their creativity. And so they add pictures, they add, you know, learning targets. We talk about, before we do some of this, and one of the things that I would highly suggest doing is, what I'm going to be doing next year for sure, is coming out with maybe a checklist of the skills that you've learned, you know, for a set, like, let's say every month you come up with a set of skills. Because one of the things that I started trying to do is have them write it out every Monday, write what they learned the previous week. And it was a lot. They got overwhelmed. They wouldn't write, they would like go blank. But if we did it together, then they were just full of ideas. But maybe having a little checklist for them to go by, so that they have a guide, like kind of guidance of what they can be writing about in there, would be something that I would suggest.
That's a great suggestion.
Say again?
That is a suggestion.
Yeah. So I'm trying to.
Well, we only have 2 minutes left. So
Okay.
is there any last minute advice you can give?
I'm trying to. Okay, wait. I need to stop sharing. Okay. Say again. I'm sorry.
Is there any last minute advice that you want to give in the 2 minutes that we have left?
Take risks. Go out of your comfort zone. It's going to take time, but it's time well spent, because then you can make it into a rotation where they can work on it on their own after you front load. But just because you don't know it, don't keep it from them, because they can do it, and it's a great way for them to explore and add knowledge, and just kind of prove to you some of the knowledge that you've taught them. But it will be work. It will take some time, but if you show them from the very beginning, just like with everything else, other expectations, anything in the classroom that you do, it takes a lot of time at the beginning, but then they should have the hang of it later on. And there's always going to be someone in your classroom, one of the students that can always help out. because they're going to know everything. They're going to be the ones that go home and go work on the website. They're going to be the ones that are always online. And so don't be afraid to play around while they're playing around with it. They love to see you make mistakes too. I mean, I sit there and I'm like, oh, do this. I'm like, oh, wait, nope. And then someone else will tell me, no, Ms. Perkins, you're supposed to do this whenever you want to change that. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Thanks. And so, you know, sometimes, you know, if you're not on it and you're not changing it up, then you kind of tend to forget. So just play around with it constantly. You'll learn new things. You'll, you know, like I said, the first year wasn't the best, but I learned from it and I made it better this year, and I'm hoping to make it better next year for the kids.
Perfect. That's awesome advice. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing all of the wonderful things that you guys are doing at Reagan Elementary and your second graders. I'm excited to see what happens in the future. Oh, wait, we have one other question real quick.
Okay.
Love the ideas of getting sites as a place to house exit tickets or skills check. Did you get to design the website template for your students, or did the students? If not, is it possible to set up the template before students edit? So if you want to address that real quick again.
Yeah, so what I did was I pretended as if I were a student, but I went and I set up a page with what I wanted the students to have, like the tabs and the subjects that I wanted them to be able to write on, and then I saved it as a template. So when you go to manage site, before you save it, you have to scroll down a little bit, but one of the options, there's a little middle button that says save page as a template. And so then you click on that, you name it, and then that way, whenever the kids go and they create their site, then instead of starting from a blank page, then they go into the gallery and they pick the template from the gallery. So we did it all together, and we all said, okay, I said, okay, everyone look, because mine was named second grade portfolio. And so they all clicked second grade portfolio. And so they all started from the same blank slate that I had created for them. And then they added and changed the theme. They changed the fonts. They changed, they added some sub pages and stuff, however they saw fit. But they all started with the same pages, which I said, these are ones that I want to stay the same, but you can add some if you want. You can add sub pages. So they had something to start with. So because starting from nothing was kind of difficult for them the year before.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing again. And this will be posted for others to see. And everyone, have a great night.
Bye. Thank you.